So, I've been exploring Enshrouded's new Wake of Water update for, well, almost 70 hours now. I can say that a lot has changed for combat, especially because it became much more challenging. But with the addition of epic new weapons, armor, skills and snacks, I found the perfect build to not just survive, but thrive in the Oasis. Introducing my Brutal Endgame Berserker Build with everything you need to know to deal truckloads of damage with satisfying combos. Whirlwind Spin, Smash, Uppercut and even Fusroda your enemies to oblivion. I would like to say a big thanks to Keen Games, Enshrouded developers, for making today's video possible. I noticed that they've decided to put the game on sale to celebrate Wake of Water updates. With not dozens but hundreds of hours worth of content right now, I'd say it's a steal deal. So if you don't own it yet, check out my link in the description, as I'd say this is the perfect time to dive in. Anyways, this build, I'd say, is fun for everyone, as it comes with a solution for every situation and really excels in high damage output, with all the single target and area of effect tricks or bonuses it comes with. Some of my favorite combos are the double jump or glider into a crash down attack, and also the blink into an evasion attack. All these are super satisfying if you execute them right, especially if you then also crit on the spot, which really deletes enemies from the battlefield in a very satisfying way. Alright, so let's start off with the essentials for this build, the loadout with both weapons and armor. The good thing is most of them can simply be crafted, so it's super easy to get your hands on. So first off, the headgear, Sunpiercer helmet, as it comes with insane amounts of melee critical strike chance and critical strike damage. An essential part for the set, as it makes those one-shots happen, which are super satisfying to pull off. Next up, the Sunpiercer chestplate. We have a nice balance of both HP and stamina. It's simply the best one for melee builds, the other one is just plain bad. And as gloves, again Sunpiercer. Now you're probably thinking, this is simple, we just have to craft one set, but that's not true. This one is just super important once again, just like the helmet, because it comes with an insane amount of damage modifiers. If we check out the leg guards though, these are the Golden Bulwark pants. Both HP and stamina regen. I'm gonna show you guys in a second why we don't choose the Sunpiercer over it. Same counts for the boots, come with also a nice combination of HP and stamina regeneration. And this one is gonna be a real shocker for you. I'm rolling this build with 2 times the ring of Thunder Snow. You're probably thinking, dude, this is magic, but mana regeneration is actually super important to pull off some things like our updraft and Fusroda, let's say, but also the increased shock damage. This is actually very good for our main weapon, which we're gonna talk about in a second. The shock resist isn't really important, so go with that 2 times. And also the Golden Bulwark shield, only for situations where, for example, we're using our torch and have to block or whatever. The reason why we don't go with the leg guards is because they come with only HP and HP regeneration. You don't need health regen for this specific build, as we're gonna find health orbs all the time that are gonna basically heal us, while our weapon itself also comes with lifesteal. When we look at the boots, the health regen and health regen delay sounds nice and all, but that delay isn't that much of a big deal. I definitely think stamina, with all the nerfs and combat changes, is much more important to have regenerating as quick as possible. Now, the reason why I don't go with those other rings, like the stamina ring, is because these regeneration values are trash. I mean, +9 stam and +9 stamina regen really doesn't make a difference when we look at my total stamina on the attribute screen. Total stamina regen over 200, that would be like 18 more. We really don't need that. While with the rings, we get 33. That's a terrible amount for mana regeneration, but without the rings, there's gonna be literally 5 as base. So then it's gonna be almost impossible to use your updraft, which I think is an essential one to traverse in Enshrouded. Without it, yeah, you feel super slow and it's simply not fun to explore the worlds. So your absolute best option would be 2 times Ring of Thunder Snow. If you don't have those, you can alternatively go for the Ring of the Air, also found in the Veilwater Basin randomly, while I think the easiest are the ultimate Rings of HP. Just equip 2 for a total of plus 90 HP. Next up, my favorite part of the build to talk about, which is my two-handed battle axe, the Cursebringer axe, which in my opinion looks beautiful with the cosmetics of my character. I decided to paint everything black to match it even better. But yes, because it hits like a truck, you literally become a Deathbringer. That's exactly what everything looks like. It comes with cutting and shock damage. Big surprise. That's why we use those rings, but especially once you start upgrading it, you get increased critical strike chance, more cutting damage based on your base damage, also health life leech. Every time when you hit enemies, you gain a portion of HP back, which is amazing for survivability on the highest level, and also increased magic shock damage. If we scroll all the way down right here, you get even more increased critical strike damage at the very end. I don't think I have to explain this more, it simply becomes brutal if you happen to crit, and this actually happens a lot. If we have a quick look at my attributes, you'll see your critical strike chance and damage on the secondary tab right here. 185% critical strike damage bonus, chance only 10, but if you use melee with the battle axe, that's 28, almost 30%. I'll show you some tricks how you can quickly get your hands on the Cursebringer axe, also a part of my previous guide, but an amazing alternative for it would be the Golden War Hero Axe. It comes with HP Life Leech as well, so awesome for survivability. Instead of shock damage, this time fire damage. Then also renewal to restore durability when you defeat an enemy, and also cleansing, which increases your damage against the fel. If you tweak your build slightly, this could actually become more interesting for your specific playstyle or way how you want to farm things in the game. So in general, both amazing weapons. Let me quickly show you where you can pick it up, as it's super easy. Literally takes 30 seconds of your time. Simply visit the northwestern town of Cromville Hot Springs, called Gateway Outpost Endflame. I very much recommend you to place a flame shrine right there, as you'll be farming this place quite often for high-level legendary loot, with of course a chance of encountering the Cursebringer axe. So all we have to do right here is fly inside this attic area, jump down, and after that you're just gonna roll inside this little room, let's say. Hidden chest will be right there, and bam! Inside it, a 100% chance of the Golden War Hero axe popping up. If you break the window right here or just simply fly through this, there is another chest which you can pick up. I just always do this as it only takes a couple seconds. Simply check out my previous video in the top right of the screen, in which I cover all these legendary chests, which you can pick up one by one every hour, let's say, which will help you secure this item as quick as possible. I mean, I've got another one right here on a lower level anyways, but again, this is what I found in my previous run, so always amazing to do every hour. So, now that we've talked about all the equipment, it's time to check out the skill tree. After that, I'm also gonna cover some amazing snacks that can really make this build stand out on the battlefield. After spending hundreds of hours on this specific save and primarily recording for content, playtesting to figure out the best methods for farming, etc. Yeah, you can see that my map is pretty complete, but still, I haven't focused on taking down all the shroud roots. There are still some hidden here and there, so this for sure is an endgame save, while it still lacks some of the skill points. But this is gonna be, let's say, a perfect build if you've already spent some time in the Albanese summits or just entered the Veilwater Basin. I currently have 169 total skill points, as you can see in the top left of the screen, so let's go over every single one of them. I almost 100% memorized how the skill tree is set up, so I'm gonna refund everything so it's gonna be easier for you guys to follow. So first off, I want you to pick up all the essentials for farming: the lumberjack, the quality gear, the miner, as well as the mason. You can also go with the fisherman's resolve. I think it's gonna be nice for fishing in general. All essentials for utility, I think, in the Veilwater Basin, but also pick up the merciless attack. Enemies have a wide stun bar. If you hit them, especially when blocking, you will fill it up, and at a certain point you can overpower them. Deals a massive amount of damage, especially with this two-handed weapon, sometimes even allowing you to one-shot a foe, especially if you crit. Also pick up the power parry right here and opportunity to further increase its damage by 100%. Don't go with a backstab damage or sneak attack in general, as I think you don't need any of this. We're gonna take care of enemies with brute force. You're not gonna be sneaking about. What's also nice is to, well, not go for well rested, but the Giant Slayer hook. When you use this one, you can propel yourself towards large enemies. It does cost a little bit of stamina, but especially the grounding hook is important, because as melee character, ranged or especially flying foes are going to be more troublesome to deal with. With this, you can just simply hook them out of the sky and take care of them with ease. Savior only relevant if you're playing with others on a server and you die all the time. With this build, that's not gonna happen. With a couple more interesting ones right here, we're actually gonna do something funky. We have Dexterity attribute increase or Spirit. You can choose whatever floats your boat right here, but in general, I think it's more important to go for Dex, as then you can choose the glider consume less stamina. You want this because of the updraft. It's one of the most important traversal abilities in my opinion, essential for exploration in Enshrouded. After that, you can also pick up the counter strike. After you receive damage, there is a chance to reflect damage back to attackers as fire damage. So remember the axe we talked about earlier? Fire damage, if you actually stack that, could make the build interesting. Now it's all about either intelligence or spirit. I like to go with spirit as this regenerates mana. And also take Begone. This is our Fus Roda. Now some of you guys are probably thinking, for him, what are you constantly saying with Fus Roda? Here we go. This is exactly what it looks like. All we have to do is beep. And the enemy is gone. That's what I just really love about this specific ability. It's simply your Spartan kick or push enemies into the abyss, which I don't know, is just super satisfying to execute. That's why you want to go with Begone. It does cost a little bit of mana. That's why I also think the mana regeneration rings are awesome for both of these abilities. Anyways, let's move on to the most important part of the build, the two-handed axe stuff, which is going to make this build really stand out with the damage. I like to go with the strength right here and the crash down attack. Also go for double jump to make it easier to land this and deal even more damage with the crash down attack. So you can basically double jump and then bam. You can do this with one jump as well, but especially with the double jump. Wait a second, that wasn't right. Yeah. What's also interesting, especially when dealing with airborne units, is take the Steadfast right here. Defeating an enemy with a melee weapon restores some durability, but also the upwards slash attack. Especially with those Banshees, you want to jump and then very quickly tap your first attack, because then you can just give him an uppercut. If you wait too long, as you can see, you will slash downwards. So when going up, that's when you want to hit it. Works very well against especially those weaker flying foes. Since we're in the Veilwater Basin update, I like to go with the strength right here. Also the vigorous deflection, so you can make those parries even more powerful. Restore some mana while you're at it. Defeating enemies with sneak attack or merciless also spawns health orbs. They regenerate some of your HP. Take the strength right here. And also go for the wet dog, which is going to make traversal or exploration more efficient, because you're going to be more immune to being wet, let's say. Take the splash dash, allows you to perform an evasive dash while swimming or diving. This one right here, not relevant, but you can take even more soak dog if you like to, but this all is optional. It really depends on the amount of extra skill points you have to spare. More importantly, take the bash. Your parry bashes the enemy for blunt damage. You're going to be parrying a lot, as shared earlier, for those overpowers and merciless attacks. So this is essential. Take even more strength right here, and also the whirlwind crescendo. Super simple to execute. Just swing 3 times with your axe and bam! Most foes are already gone. Next up, we have a couple more interesting ones to pick up right here. The heavy-handed, filling up enemy stun bars is increased by 20% when attacking blocking enemies with melee attacks. You can pick up the more strengths right here, but it's not essential. Feast does increase your HP by an additional 15%, so I think that's an amazing one to pick up. Next up, we're gonna take Relentless. Critical strikes with two-handed weapons increase your chance by another 10 for the next hit. So the more you swing, the more dangerous it becomes. And then also the heavy specialization, amazing for this build. Also the Barbarian, gain 1 point of strength for every 2 levels of the flame. And finally, Blood Rage. When an enemy is killed within 10 meters with his melee weapon, the damage will be increased by 20% for 10 seconds. Also take the Breach. Overpowered enemies receive 100% increased melee damage for 3 seconds. When you parry an attack or overpower an enemy, another AoE damage. Right now, before we're gonna check out some extras, which are optional, not essential, that can help you with maneuverability or survivability. Right here, you can really choose between intelligence and intelligence. Fantastic. Healer also gives you increased healing from spells, while I like to go with this one. Successfully parrying an attack restores mana. Again, mana is awesome for the updraft and also the Fußroda talked about earlier. So we're going to pick that one up and then go for Blink. Also take the evasion attack. When equipped with a melee weapon, you can perform an evase attack which dashes towards an enemy and deals more weapon damage. I think it's a very nice one. You can also go with Battle Heal. Critical strike with melees will also heal you for an X amount of HP. I'm going to show both of these in a second as Blink replaces your dodge roll ability with this teleport. It's awesome, especially if you combine that with the emergency blink. Now, when you get stunned, you can just simply stun out of it. All these are so important, guys. I recommend you to use them for any build, basically. You could also go with Blink Attack Explosion. If you blink into enemies, it triggers the explosion. I don't think it's super important. More interesting, the Warrior's Path. Melee weapon damage increased by 10%. Increases your strength right here. We're gonna go with the cutting damage increased by 10. That's our X. Butchering, another 20%. Veteran, melee weapon critical strike chance increased by another 10. So there you have it. This is for one-handed weapons, so not relevant. Right here you can go with blunt, and that's where you can find piercing damage. Greatsword damage is increased by 10. Also interesting, if you're going for one of those builds, then you would just simply take these three. Right now we still have 22 points left. I'm not 100% sure where I placed them. We should just simply go this way. Take the Wanderlust, the good metabolism. The stamina regeneration of sweets is increased by 50%. And base regeneration can be increased right here, which is not essential, but what is the dessert stomach. You want to rush your way to Survivor, as this is where you can just pick it up, which is super nice, as then you get 1 extra food slot. Also with the last meal, and there we have our final skill. Wow, that was just perfect building right there. I think this is an essential upgrade for this update with the increased difficulty of combat, but also all the heights in the Veilwater Basin. You easily fall to your death or get killed, and then you just stand back up and all the food will still be there. Really, guys, I think the combination of these two are some of the most important skill points you want to focus on, as especially for the end game, it's going to become increasingly more difficult to make high value dishes, as they require a lot of difficult to get your hands on ingredients, let's say. So let's move on to the snacks, which I can very much recommend for this build, as now you know you won't lose the buffs if you happen to die. The very first one are the crab cakes. This one pretty easy to make with the new crab meat, some eggs, salt and milk. Just place some goats and birds in your base and you will have a infinite supply of all that, while crabs can be found all over the place. Comes with a nice 280 HP. It's a meat type of dish with also increased damage against wildlife and wild beasts. The beef stew also still pretty interesting, as it comes with a nice amount of HP regeneration, but in general, because we slay enemies all the time and get health orbs while we're at it, this is not really that important. Next up, we have HP regeneration. I think the strawberry milkshake is awesome, as it comes with both that and stamina regen. Stamina regen is pretty essential right now for combat, while for stamina, we also have the ginger tea, which actually comes with a very high amount. Then we have some sweets. Remember, guys, this is a liquid, so you can combine it with a fruit and you can combine it with a meat, so that's already 3 different ones. We have 4 total slots. So we could also add a sweet to it. I like to go with the strawberry cake, as it comes with an absurd amount of HP and stamina regeneration. Unfortunately, they only last for like 3 minutes, so that's something you definitely want to keep in mind, as, yeah, you won't be able to run around with this 24/7, and they're pretty difficult to make with egg, saffron, strawberry, sugar, and flour. Alternatively, make yourself a grain product. The fried rice, I think it's an awesome one. Comes with melee damage and stamina, that's plus 21%. but this one I think is even better because it comes with 3% melee damage less, but also thrust resist, stamina and stamina regen. Actually a much better one compared to this, as it comes with many more bonuses. Once we finally get the chance to make ourselves some grilled fish with coconut rice, I think this is also going to be an amazing one, as it comes with a very high amount of bonus HP, stamina regeneration, and even 1 minute of extra time underwater. So this would be one of the top tier dishes to get your hands on, while you're going to need searing fish fillet for it, and I still haven't found a method to make it. Seems like the devs have forgotten to include it in the updates. You can already make it right here with the regular fish fillet, but I've tried everything from checking out the campfire. See, I've got fish fillet right here. So for the devs, if you're watching this video, please fix it ASAP, as I can't wait to snack on this mouth-watering grilled fish with coconut rice. Oh, and something I forgot entirely, we also have new gems, which you can use to add to your weapon. For my Curse Bringer axe, I currently have this one right here, the Gem of Bloodlust. Let's quickly check out all my gems which are inside this chest right here. I think all these are interesting for your weapon, especially the Gem of Battle Mania is a, let's say, balanced one with stamina, HP, and mana regeneration. Easy to get your hands on. I'm gonna share its location in a second, just like for the other ones. Gem of Currents, introduced with this update, found from the Drag Generals, I think, comes with weapon shock damage. Gotta be very nice for this specific build, as we also focus on shock. However, I think it's more interesting to focus on the Gem of Bloodlust, because it comes with more cutting weapon damage, and also higher chances of spawning health orbs. So that basically means you will get insane amounts of increased survivability. For the Gem of Battle Mania, the Scatterbone Town is a very nice one, as there you can find a lot of those. For the Gem of Bloodlust, you want to take out those Wookiees. I think they're a little bit northeast of Wigmouth, exactly right there at the Vuka Ceremony Hill. Vuka, Wookie, whatever, you get the point, but that is basically everything you need for an unstoppable barbarian build, with a two-handed weapon that hits like a truck. In my opinion, so much fun to play. But if you have more suggestions for the community, please do leave them in the comments. Share what you think is going to make this build even more powerful. If you enjoyed the guide, please do leave a like. Means the world to me. Right now though, it's 4 AM out. I want to wish you a lot of fun with the updates. I'll check you guys in the next video or live stream. Peace.